The demon, Coronzon, the Enochian dweller of the abyss. Coronzon, koʊ·roʊnʻzoʊn, is a demon or devil that originated in writing, contained in the 16th century occultists Edward Kelley and John Dee, within Dee's occult system of Enochian magic. In the 20th century, Choronzon became an important element within the system of Thelema, founded by Aleister Crowley, where he is believed to be the last great obstacle between the adept and enlightenment. Thelemites believe that if he is met with proper preparation, then his function would be to destroy the ego, which allows the adept to move beyond the abyss of occult cosmology. Including Crowley's spelling of the name, there appear to be three alternatives. Thrice great, Choronzon, Coronzon without the H, and Laycock's Enochian dictionary gives the latter spelling of Coronzom, otherwise known as the demon of dispersion. Coronzon is described by Crowley as a temporary personification, meaning it is a vessel of sorts of the raving and inconsistent forces that occupy the abyss. In this system, Coronzon is given form in evocation only, so that it may be mastered. Crowley states that he and Victor Benjamin Newberg evoked Choronzon in the Sahara Desert in December 1909. Enoch Baku Atlantis in the Sahara, meaning you should look into that a little further. In Crowley's account, it is unclear whether Choronzon was evoked into an empty Solomonic triangle, while Crowley sat elsewhere, or whether Crowley himself was the medium into which the demon was invoked. Come into me is asking to be a vessel. Nearly all the writers except Lawrence Sutin take him to mean the latter, meaning they believe Crowley was possessed. In the account, Choronzon is described as changing shape, which is read variably as an account of actual metamorphosis, a subjective impression of Newberg's or fabrication on Crowley's part. This actually aligns with Athanasius Kirch's book, written for Emperor Ferdinand III. It is very possible that our perception of them makes them appear as if there is metamorphosis. Much to learn we have. The account describes the demon throwing sand over the triangle to breach it, following which it attacked Newberg in the form of a naked savage, forcing him to drive it back at the point of a dagger. Before I present the next section, there is a book written in recent times, labeling Crowley as an MI5 agent. Aleister Crowley would be the perfect frontman. This is how you hide knowledge in plain sight. The man's background alone made me avoid his work, and I believe that's the point. Crowley's account has been criticized as unreliable, simply because the relevant original pages have been torn from the notebook in which the account was written. This, along with other inconsistencies in the manuscript, has led to the speculation that Crowley embroidered this event to support his own belief system. The thing is, we must follow our own path. It would be the same if you chose the dark path. It must be our own path, chosen by the individual. Belief is, and should be, unique, believe it or not. There is only one path, an opinion that really matters, and that is your own. And following others blindly may actually be the biggest mistake. I hope you understand. The area of poetry must be constantly reinvented. Brion Gysin. Everything he created was an act of sorcery. Crowley himself claimed, in a footnote to the account in Liber 418, that the greatest precautions were taken at the time and have since been further fortified to keep silence concerning the rite of evocation. Arthur Calder Marshall, meanwhile, asserts in The Magic of My Youth that Newberg gave a quite different account of the event, claiming that he and Crowley invoked the spirit of a foreman builder from Ur of the Chaldees. This is Zu, who chose to call himself P.472. Now if you look into that, it turns out to be a triple star. Coronzon is deemed to be held in check by the power of the goddess Babylon, inhabitant of Benar, the third Sephirah of the Tree of Life. Both Coronzon and the Abyss are discussed in Crowley's Confessions, chapter 66. The name of the dweller in the Abyss is Coronzon, but he is not really an individual. The Abyss is empty of being. It is filled with all possible forms, each equally inane, each therefore evil in the only true sense of the word, that is meaningless but malignant, insofar that it craves to be real. These forms swirl senselessly into haphazard heaps like dust devils, and each such chance aggregation asserts itself to be an individual and shrieks, "I am I," though aware all the time that its elements do not have any true bond, so that the slightest disturbance dissipates the delusion. Just like a horseman meeting a dust devil brings it in shadows of sand to the earth, in much the same way that Satan has been championed by some of those who object to God, Coronzon has been turned into a positive figure by some iconoclastic occultists, in particular chaos magicians, who object to what they see as the stultifying and restrictive dogma of Thelema. Peter Carroll's Mass of Choronzon is a ritual with the purpose of casting the energy of one's ego into the universe to effectuate an unknown desire. This, in part, has served as inspiration for modernized ritual effectuation, based on the 333 current. That'll be why I see that number all the bloody time. Carroll himself mentioned in aforementioned book that Choronzon is simply the name given to the obsessional side effects of any deluded search for a false holy guardian angel, or anything which the magician would mistake for his own profound genius itself. Which means this work, or these types of works, are making us believe something else has the power when we do. Which also means that an unknown figure is attributed with a power that actually belongs to humanity. But this is also the Hermetic arts, where we will find descriptions which are the same forwards as back. The entity is most certainly Zu, the builder of Eridu. This would mean it possibly worked with Cain to build the center of the dark arts, the legendary Eridu. Choronzon. What about the Ron in Metatron? The Greek version of the Hebrew word to take is he was transferred. Ron is a standard addition to Metatron and other angelic names in the Jewish faith. Coronzon originated in writing, meaning it is possibly a demon brought into being with a flick of a quill and powered by the mind of mankind. So this is working both ways. Nikola Tesla considered the AC current to be divine, as the current traveled both ways. If there truly is a power to belief, and power transcends boundaries, the information, or the force, or the frequency, or the power may be running in both directions. It or they are teaching us, but we may be teaching it or them. The god of dispersion, where we can see clearly that the seven are one. It is light bent, which also changes our perception. Food for thought. Please hit that notification bell to ensure that you are notified of each upload. Share, like, comment and subscribe to support the channel for more ancient mystery.